Hello everyone. Happy Friday. How is everybody doing today? All right, so I'm just going to get everything pulled up on my end here while I give you guys a minute to tune in. If you are there, say hello. Hi Karen, how are you? I hope you had a good week. Sorry I'm late getting here. I was trying to find the second sheet of dies, and of course they were right on the table underneath my chamois case, hiding underneath this. So I could not find them. So we've been on the hunt for the dies, and that kept me from coming to join you guys here. But alas, I am here. Hi Linda. And I am ready to do card number 5 with you guys today. So I am Alana Wharf, Sleepless Stamper. I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I have been going live this week with the Changing Leaves series of cards, and this is the 5th card in the series. And I have had a bonus project to share with you guys. It posted, I think, over the weekend. So I shared this one on the weekend. And then I am nearing the end of my scrapbook page that I'm working on with this bundle for you guys as well. So I will also post that once it is done. And maybe I'll even have some bonus projects. We will see. Okay, so if you would like to earn this week's cards, you can do so with placing a $65 order using either this host code or by contacting me if you're local and you want to pick up locally. That will earn you the supplies to make the 5 cards. And then you would just come back and revisit the Facebook Lives, or you can also catch them on YouTube. Hi, Sally. How are you? Where's everybody watching from? Let me know. Now, before I show you this card, I have a real quick card to show you guys from Alberta. Oh, it was cool there. Okay, so maybe it will be cool here tomorrow. It usually seems like we're a day behind in weather from what you guys have over in Alberta. It is piping hot here today. Our boys have headed to Folk Fest for the first time. They've never been before, and they are headed out there together, and it is hot. So they didn't go until this evening though, so hopefully it's a little bit cooler, but it's been super hot today. I haven't done as much deadheading yet today. All right, so I wanted to show you guys this card here. The artisans, not all of us, but some of us, it was optional. We were having a conversation one day about the Bistro Burger bundle, and it just led into so much laughter that we decided we were going to do an unofficial hop. Project hop for you guys. So it's easier to go through the hop on Instagram, but if you are on Instagram, just go there. If you start with my project or any one of the artisans, you can hop through all of the projects. There is some seriously amazing cards in that hop. If I didn't own the bundle in order to participate with the hop, I would be buying it because of the cards they've made. So this is the card that I made. Ethan loves dill pickles, so when I was going to participate, I knew I wanted to use that pickle to make a card like this. And then funny enough, one of my other artisan design team members, she made a similar card, and then someone else did today too. So there's lots of inspiration other than the dill pickles, but they're incredible. So this is the Bistro Burger bundle. If you have it and you need some ideas, make sure you go hop through those projects today. All right, so this is the card I am going to make for you guys today. This one is a gate fold, so it opens in the middle. I may decide to throw a layer in the middle while we are here creating. And I'm gonna quickly show you guys the first 4 cards in the series. So we began the first day with 2 cards. So I made this one here and this one here. I used a watercolor technique, and this was the 2nd generation, so I decided we would use that. Hey Jen, how are you? And Teresa. So we made this one and this one the same day with a lot of similar elements, but a little bit different. Created the background and then used the leaf as the feature there. So that was days 1 and 2. This was day 3. So Jen, I'll have to message you about some cards in case there's I really like this one too, but you and I can chat. So this one was done with the baby wipe technique. I did create a reel, so if you want a really quick tutorial on how to do this, you can visit that reel and get that how-to. And then yesterday I did this fancy fold. So I'll open this up real quick and show you guys. This one has a belly band that you just slide off, and then it's got these panels of DSP that opens up to this on the inside. I don't often use quite so much DSP, but I just loved the layers on the inside of that one. Oh, thanks, Jen. Was that the baby wipe one or this one? Now, there we go. And then I'm excited to show you guys the scrapbook page once I finish it. I've used some of the leftover elements of this. And if any of you are on my personal Facebook, you know about our sad birch tree out front. So that is what my page is about. All right, so now this one is the one I'm going to make next. I'll give you guys the lowdown on the supplies here. So this one is still yesterday was the fancy fold as well. And it was 11 wide, but 5.5. Oh, thanks for joining us, Teresa. I'm happy to have you here for the first time. It's still 11 wide, but only the 4.25 tall on this one, because we're going to create a couple of folds there. I have a 4 by 5.25 in case I decide to do that layer on the inside. I have a scrap for this leaf here. I will show you guys where this is from. I've pre-die cut that one. I have also pre-die cut 2 of these. Now this one is just to go on the back for stability and also to hide the back of that paper. Now that one would have looked pretty, but the back of this portion of the paper would have been a little bit busy. You only get one that has that kind of solid pretty pattern on the back, and then the rest would be this busy stuff here, and it's a little flimsy. So this is from the Thoughtful, I can never remember if it's Thoughtful Journey or Thoughtful Wishes DSP. Thoughtful Journey DSP. I think the suite is the Thoughtful Wishes suite, and the DSP is the Thoughtful Journey DSP. So that is where I got that. I just wanted to show you guys that. And then I cut a layer with Lost Lagoon cardstock, and that is from the new Greetings of the Season dies. I used those yesterday as well. Okay, and then I have a 4 by 5 layer, and this one is the one that I am going to adhere all of these little die cut leaves onto so that I can create my panels on the front of the card. So for those, we have actually pre-die cut, I say we because Ryan helped me, some of the leaves from the bundle. So that is these ones here. And in the bundle, you get this background die that coordinates with your embossing folder. And then you also get another sheet with these label dies, this little accent, and these 3. So those are the 3 that I used for this project. Let's get those out of the way. I used 4 of this one, 3 of this one. I hope I've done the math right. If not, I may have to quickly die cut some more. And 5 of this one. Hi, Marcia and Rhonda. All right, so those are the layers, and we will get started. So I'm going to first score the card. Yesterday I did that at the end, but today we're going to do that first. So this is going to be scored so that it meets at the middle. You can make a gatefold so that it meets off to one side, but for this one I have it meeting at the middle. So we're going to score at 2 3/4, and then 2 3/4 in from this side, which is 8 1/4. So 2 3/4 and 8 1/4. Hi, Kathleen. Oh, I'm dropping the stylus here. Oh, Linda, that's always hard to say goodbye. It's never fun. I don't even like it when my mom goes home, and she's only 2 hours away. Alberta is so much further. Okay, so we're just going to burnish these folds, and then we can set this aside. And then I just want to make sure they meet nicely in the middle before I burnish that second side. So that's good there. We can move this aside. Now, I just want to make sure that this is the smaller. I'll bring that card back in so that you guys can see that and watch what I'm doing. Okay, this is the 4 by 5. That's the one I want to use. And it is a bit smaller because it's going to be layering on these panels. So I don't need that one to be the 5 1/4, just the inside of the card. All right, so we are going to start with, you can just pop out. I should have popped all these out ahead of time so you guys didn't have to watch that. I didn't even think about that. You could also save all those little pieces if you wanted to. You could put the white centers inside another color of leaf if you wanted to do that. If you had gilded leafing left over from when it was a current item, you could always put that on there. So I am going to lay all of these out first, just to do a quick dry fit. So if you are just tuning in, I had mentioned when I was reviewing the supplies that I put this white paper onto adhesive sheets first, and then I die cut them. So when you're doing that, you would peel one side of the backing off the double-sided paper, and then you would stick your cardstock to it, and then you need to make sure that you die cut on the cardstock side so that the adhesive is on the back. I did not do this when I made my sample, and it was not fun to glue all that. I tell you that. I used the trick where you can put some Tombow on a silicone sheet, and then you can use a sponge or a dauber to pick up the glue and then dauber it all over the back. It's still messy, so I don't recommend that method if you can help it. So, but just to let you know, if you don't have double-sided sheets, you can do it, but I absolutely recommend adding some to your collection. They go a long way if you aren't doing projects like this every day, then you will get a lot of use out of them. What is everybody doing with their weekend? If you are in this area, are you going to Folk Fest? I haven't been to Folk Fest probably since before we had kids. So the boys have never been. I think I went, my niece that is a few years older than our kids, I'm pretty sure she was a baby and she came along. But I did listen to some of the music. I'm not familiar with any of it, and actually neither are the boys, but they will have fun. Their cousin is here from another province, and he drove out to go to it tonight as well. There's a band he wanted to see. I'm just chatting while I'm busy popping out these negative spaces. And so he is going to come and stay with us for the night. So they will all be out there. He is the same age as our younger son, and he drove out from Saskatchewan. All right, so this one here is actually, so I'm going to show you guys. This one is the double leaf, and this one is the double leaf. So I can kind of gauge these here. Now, this one that's right here is also a double leaf. So this one is going to go here, and I'm also going to just center this so that I can see where this center line is. Oh shoot, I'm glad you found me, Audrey. I haven't really started too much yet. I should try to remember to send you a text message before I go live so that you don't miss out. I'm so sorry. Okay, we're almost done popping out negatives. I think this is the last one. I'm sorry you guys had to tough it out through this and listen to me chat about Folk Fest. I think Mount Joy is the band that my nephew wanted to see tonight. All right, so we have, let's just make sure we're on center here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is on center. Aw, thank you, Kathleen. I'm so glad that I have inspired you with it. I had to laugh. I think it's this set. I saw a team member's comment just before I went live saying, okay, you convinced me I'm going to get this set. And I'm guessing it was this one, but I haven't had a chance to go look at her comment yet. I just saw the notification pop up quickly. All right, so we are going to just gauge where everything goes first. Hi, Sharon. How are you doing? You have been on my mind. I hope that you're doing okay over there. All right, so we're gonna get all of these in place first. I bumped that one. I need to keep that straight. So we can see here by tucking this in, I need to shuffle a little bit because these aren't quite fitting where I had them. And I liked how the placement worked out. They are slippery little suckers though. Okay, now this one, gotta flip that upside down. That one goes in there. And then, okay, so this one needs a slightly different angle. And I did have this one in the middle. So I think this one was a bit more like that. It's tricky. There we go. That looks roughly about where I had it. And then now I can bring in this last one here and it tucks in. This one is a little higher because this one has enough room to tuck in all three of them. So we're gonna just monkey with this a bit so we can get these in the proper placement. It's worth taking the time up front to get the placement where you want it, and then you can just pick up one piece at a time and adhere that down. Okay, so let's just make sure this is cut at 4 and it's not cut too short. Because if it's cut too short, no, it's 4, so we're good. I just wanted to make sure I was working with the same amount of room as on my other one, because this is definitely, no, I think I angled this one up a little bit, and then this one in here. There we go. We're getting there. Just patience, right? And then this is a little higher. There we go. We are getting there. And then this one is going to angle up a little bit more in there. There we go. And then this one's going to have a little bit more room to go like that. And then I might even use one of these little offcuts to put some in that corner. We're going to go a little higher here. There we are. There. That's about how I had it. So now I can pick up one at a time. I'm going to start with this guy here because that's an easy one off the corner. Now, because I put this on the adhesive sheet first, I can just peel this backing, but actually, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to peel it from the front side, and then that way I don't have to peel back where I am not sticking, like this back half here, you can see it's not going to, I'm going to trim it off. So I'm just going to leave that backing on there. And then that way, that portion that I cut off will still have the backing on it. So it will be a little easier to reuse that other side to tuck in somewhere else if I decide to. Now this one here is going to go right there. It is so worth it to take the time to put some white cardstock on that adhesive sheet first. Now I'm going to grab this one, and the more that we do from the outside edge with these large ones first to frame it out, it makes all those other pieces in the middle a little bit easier without having pieces bounce all over on you. Okay, so we're going to fold these edges back. The other benefit of this is it gives me something to hold on to, which I like. There we go. So we're going to tuck that one in there. Now I am going to grab this one and just peel that off. I feel like you could make a really pretty stencil with this too. There's just like so many ideas and not enough days in the week to make projects. There we go. I could have probably left the tip on that one. Now I'm actually going to stick this one next before this next double one. Well, you know what? No, I'm not, because once I lay this one flat, I just want to make sure we have the room we need. So now this one fully sticks down. So this part doesn't take too long once you get everything laid out. And if you're making multiples of these, you can do all of this at once, and then it's pretty quick. Okay, now I can peel this one. And I have a somewhat simplified version I want to show you guys as well. I didn't complete the card, but I want to show you guys what I did do one part of it. Now, yes, I do still have it here. I just wanted to make sure I didn't clean it up and put it away. Now that I'm telling you guys I have this piece to show you. Okay, so this one is just a partial one. I should have kept the backing on that edge and I forgot. Now I'm going to peel this one. Now, if you want to conserve your adhesive sheets, you could always do these ones just in white cardstock and then use glue, because these are pretty easy to glue on. Hi, Susan. How are you doing? We're going to just angle this one a little bit differently. There we are. Now peel this one. Do you guys own adhesive sheets? If you qualify to earn this week's card kits, they will be die cut for you. Whoopsie, I need to angle that one a little differently, with the adhesive already on them. So don't worry about that if you are somebody who is making a purchase to qualify for the kits. Yes, Kathleen, that's actually what I did do for mine. I placed it all, took a picture, because sometimes you accidentally bump it, right? So that is exactly what I did. Placed everything, took a picture, and then I lifted up one by one. And I absolutely needed to refer to it. So that's a very good point. And I also did that, the pickle card I showed you guys, I took pictures of that as well, because I needed to kind of play around with the placement a bit. So that is I'm glad you said that, because I forget sometimes to tell you guys the things that I do while I'm designing that make it a little easier. All right, one more, and of course it wants to mess with me. And now that I have a sample, I can refer to this one, but because I picked this up, I wouldn't have remembered which way it went. This time I can refer to this, but when I was making my original, I did have to refer back to my sample a couple times, or my photo, I mean, a couple of times, to see what I had put where. Okay, so I'm gonna try to put that backing back on this one and see if, there we go. We'll see if it stays. And let's put the backing back on this one, because that whole leaf is left intact. So we can just tuck that backing back on. And I'm gonna put the backing back on this one, which is also a single. I think I had, right? Remember I had bent that one over? It came off. Okay, so we can just tuck that on there. And we can snip these off. This one didn't want to stay either. We'll try. There we go. Okay, so now from behind, or from the front, we can trim off all of the excess. Put my snips away. So we're just gonna follow along here. Snip that off and move these out of the way, or they're gonna stick all over my mat. I'm gonna hang on to this one because I might use that down here. We'll see. I feel like it might need something, though I did not use anything on my original. So we'll snip all those. That one has the backing on it. Now Ruby's scratching at the door. She says, "Let me in, let me in." If you are new here, Ruby is our dog. And she always wants to be where I am. Okay. Now we're gonna snip along here. So much easier with the adhesive sheets than trying to glue these with Tombow. I tell you that. Okay, this one isn't wanting to stay. I'm gonna just snip that little bit off. Now this one I'm doing from the back so that I can see the corner, because that leaf goes right over a corner. So that makes it a little bit easier. And then here we can snip right along here. And then sometimes you need to do a quick little burnish to make sure that you have pressed everything down well after it's all snipped. Okay, there we go. So that is the background. What do you guys think of that? There we are. So we can move all these out of the way. And now I just want to decide if I am going to tuck this in here or leave it. I'll put that little bit in the corner. I think that looks okay there. So we'll just put that tiny little bit in the corner there. There we are. There is the panels. Thanks, Karen. Just make sure everything is burnished down to my card front. Now I'm going to show you guys, I'm just going to keep that little piece there too, what I did to make this into 2 panels. First, I'm going to distress the edges just a little bit, and then I'll have to do the middle once I cut it. So I found that it was easier to apply all of these to one piece first and then cut it in half. That way it'll help you make sure your pieces are lined up. And this is just a very gentle distressing. I don't want to make any of these pieces fall off, like that right there. You could also probably distress first if you wanted to. Okay, now I had told you guys that this was 4 by 5. So to create my 2 panels, I am going to make sure this is facing the same way as this one. Now I'm going to just get my little cutter and we're going to cut this at 2.5. And then I will have 2 equal panels to put on the front of my card. So I just want to make sure I don't want to cut this wrong. So just double checked that I was at 2.5. And it sounds kind of awful because it's going through all those tiny little veins on the leaves. So you just hear an extra little noise each time. So there we are. There's our 2 panels. Now I just need to do a little bit of distressing down the middle. And then my 2 panels are ready. No, not the cutter. I think of you almost every time I use that thing, Karen. I really need to find a new one. I love that cutter, but it is a little nerve-wracking with that blade being a bit broken. All right, so we have these ready. I'm gonna just move these aside for now, and then we're going to get this leaf layer ready. All right, so this one I inked up with my Lost Lagoon. I'm gonna just clean that off with the chamois that was hiding my dies earlier. There we are. Okay. Now I've got to put that back down and make sure I don't hide all my card parts with that. Okay, here we are. So Lost Lagoon first. And it's very hard to tell on this one because I didn't do very much of this technique, but I'm going to try to get a little bit more of it with this one here. So I did some rock and roll, which is where you just gently rock the edge on another color. So you should go from lighter to darker when you're doing rock and roll so that you don't put the dark color onto your lighter pad. So I'm going to just move that for a second and then try to just rock and roll a little bit around the edges. So you can see there that I've got a little bit of Pretty Peacock. Now we're gonna see if this looks any good. If it doesn't, we'll just grab a second piece and try that. There we go. It's not much, but I think I'll keep that. You could also dauber the darker color onto the edges so that you're not contaminating your ink pad, and to soften those edges, and then you can come in a little bit further with your rock and roll. So there's a couple of different ways that you can get a rock and roll look if that's what you wanted to go for. All right, so now we need to use this here. We're going to use the background die. And oh gosh, should I tempt it? I think I'm going to try it again. Yesterday I had a little trouble lining up the die and the embossing folder at the same time, but we're going to give this another shot. Okay. So we're going to put the die, you line that up into, I'm just going to take these pieces of tape off because I had them on there to tape them down to my stamped image. But we're going to do this a little differently. So you can take your die and you line it up in the side that has the Stampin' Up! Logo, and you can kind of see it's not going anywhere. I'm thinking that I might have just not quite done this properly yesterday, and I'm going to use some fresh tape to tape this in place, and it's already on my desk, but I'm going behind me. Okay, so this is just Post-it tape. You can get this on Amazon or maybe Staples. Actually, I got that at Staples. I shouldn't say Amazon. I try to buy it somewhere else if I can first. So we're taping that down, and now I am going to line up my image with the image in the folder. And oh, I did this yesterday. I should have ripped off the extra tape that I need first. Here we go. Okay. Now we line this up. I will bring this closer for you guys too once I get it lined up. I just need to have eyes close enough on it to see what I'm doing. This I can see by holding it a little closer, though reading is another story. Okay, so we're going to tape this in place. And I'm going to tape this where it has a flat portion to go to. Nope, that's not straight. I need to trim a little bit off the top part here. It's a little bit too tall. So it's jamming in the crease of the folder, and it's pushing it out of alignment. So I just need to take a little bit off the top so that this paper isn't too big. Okay. I'm sorry, Karen, I keep bringing this cutter back in. All right, now we can realign. We're gonna make sure that the die is still in place. We can make sure that the image is all lined up in the embossing folder. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we can get a better die cut than yesterday. Okay, so I'm gonna move this out of the way so that I can put my Stamp Cut and Emboss machine here. Bear with me one sec. Just have to get all the right plates. So we have the machine, we have platform 1, so your base plate, and then you also need plate 4, so the thick gray one here. You cannot use any other plates when you're using a 3D folder. It will not fit through. Even when you don't have a die cut in the folder, you still only use plate 4 and your base plate. So let's keep our fingers crossed, sorry for my arm right in your view, that this will die cut nicely and in alignment. Okay, so we're gonna have a moment of truth here. Did it work properly? I think yesterday I might have put, I never did, there we go, that worked nicely. So I haven't gone back yet to watch yesterday's video, but I may have accidentally put the open side into the roller first. You want to put the spine side into the roller first, and it helps keep everything in a better alignment. So I'm curious if that was what my issue was yesterday. That might be what I did. Okay, so now we have all of these, and I'm going to show you guys. If you watched any of the videos from the week that I did Seaside Wishes, I created a whole pile of different watercolor and inked technique backgrounds. So this was left over from one of them. I have a bag full of all of these pieces. I had done one on cardstock and one on watercolor paper. So before, I just dug into that bag and grabbed some of the paper and die cut this. So I'm just trying to remind myself which method was this so I can try to give you guys some guidance. This one I believe was when I took the block, and let me just find the original card. I had it. I believe it's from this. When I took the block and inked up the block, spritzed it, and then stamped it on here. This may be the leftover ink that was on that block that I then put onto here. possibly. But there was a whole bunch of different inking techniques. So you just create some watercolor background first, and then I just use that to die cut the shapes from it. It is sort of like what I did with the dill pickle card today. I watercolored a background sheet, and then I stamped all the pickles on it, and then die cut them all. So that was fun. So this one is actually from the watercolor one. So I used this here, and I die cut these ahead of time. So that's where that's from. So I've got this, and I've got these 2 layers. Now I just need to stamp one more thing. That is the greeting, but I want to show you guys something. I had stamped this one first, and it was a little bit crooked. So I decided I would do it again, and I remembered that my order arrived yesterday with the Wow embossing folder in it. I took a picture of it, and I'm going to post it. But can you guys see the difference? This is the Wow, and that's the regular embossing powder. Tell me if you guys can see the difference there. I would love your opinion, because I literally blurted out wow when I was finished embossing this. When I poured the powder on, I was like, is this really going to be different? And then as soon as I heated it, I could not believe how much more opaque this Wow powder was. So I need to do that for you guys, but like, I just can't get over that. All right, so I just need a scrap of, I thought I had one handy, but have a scrap of Lost Lagoon. So I try to always use my embossing buddy. So I just moved that stuff out of the way again. I almost always try to remember to use my embossing buddy. It's another one of those things that it's a little extra work, but it is so worth it. Okay, so I have Versamark and my greeting. The greeting has been used on Blackberry Bliss, so this color is not going to come off on my piece of paper. It just kind of stays stained looking, though the color isn't actually, or the ink isn't actually still there. I should have moved that ink pad out of the way. No, that's a little, I'm going to redo that. The back, or sorry, part of it was a little smudgy, and I know it won't emboss as nicely as I'd like it to, so it's worth just making sure I redo that so that I can go straight down. There we go, that's much better. Now, I'm just gonna make sure the fan is not aiming this direction. I still have some of my old embossing trays, so I'm gonna just bring that in here. Now this is the Wow. So you get the white, and then it also has clear and ebony, primary ebony, it says. And then there is a metallics as well. You can see the difference, Karen. Thank you. Oh, and Teresa, I couldn't get over it. And you can tell this looks a lot more white. Okay, so I'm just gonna not, I find you don't need to knock off. It's not as clingy either. And you don't need to knock as hard on there when you are tapping off the excess. So let me just get my paintbrush. Oopsie. Okay, I might need to redo this because I find once you brush directly on the image sometimes, not with this powder, just in general, that it doesn't like to hold as well. So let's see. I will heat this one up, but I may redo this. We're gonna just pour the excess back in here. Whoopsie, and we don't wanna waste this powder. So I'm just gonna scoop up that extra. One sec. Grab a different paintbrush. There we go. We're just gonna sweep this to the end, and I can scoop it into the tray. That's too much to waste. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna get this paper out of the way because I don't want to put that in the bottle. There, I'll teach you how to clean up messes too. Look at all that. That was worth saving. There we are. Now I need to put the lid on, and we're just gonna heat set this, and then I will determine if I want to redo this where I accidentally brushed right over the Y. Sometimes I find if you've brushed right over where your image is, you just can't get the powder to hold to that spot as well again. So we'll see. It might be okay, but look at how opaque that is. It really does pop, I find, a lot more than the old powder, even when it doesn't look like it's going to. There we are. I think I'll just keep that Y. All right, so I have used this from Happy Little Things. The Happy Little Things dies, even if you don't have that bundle, these dies are worth having. I use these a lot. It comes with these two little greeting dies, and they are a staple for me. All right, this is a pretty tight fit. It's going to look like it is squished in there, but it just fits. And you do want to kind of make sure it's straight. Although it was a happy accident that the one earlier didn't work out, because then I remembered to bring out my Wow powder. I am very glad that I remembered to order it. I don't, I feel like it's an online, I don't know if it's an online exclusive. I think maybe. I don't know if it's coming out. I should know where it is, but I'll have to take a look so that I can let you guys know. All right, so we're just going to use the mini machine. Do any of you guys have the Wow powders? There we are. Now we've got our little greeting. And I've got to remember to take that off. I feel like I'm always afraid I'm going to throw those away. All right, so we now have the greeting. We have the little die cut leaf, and then we have the stamped die cut leaf, and I have created the backgrounds. I just need to make sure, yeah, I have one other little element here that I need to use afterwards. I just wanted to make sure it was here. All right, so I'm going to put this here and we can work on assembly. There we go. And this is the direction that I had these. I'm just going to use Tombow. So you guys, if you've been around for a while, you probably have heard me say I don't like gluing white layers that are fairly solid with my Tombow, but this has lots of texture. In the annual catalog, thank you. Was it not available initially, or did I just completely snooze on that Wow powder? Has it been available since May? And of course, I used this glue earlier and now it doesn't want to work. Has it been available since May? Oh my gosh. Okay. Bear with me one sec here. And I just missed it. I had my piercer. You guys are probably thinking, no, don't do it. Here, we're going to try one more time before I search for my piercer again. There we go. Let me know, Teresa, if you don't mind, if it was there all, like, obviously it was in the catalog, but was it available or just not available for some time before now? Okay, I'm excited to try the gold. I used gold embossing powder on my projects last week for the artisan design team, and it's so hard to photograph and show that it's actually gold powder, so I'm wondering if this will work better. Now I need to glue these two together, so if you're just hopping on, I had explained at the beginning that I die cut this label from Greetings of the Season out of both the Thoughtful Journey DSP and a piece of Lost Lagoon cardstock, so that it would give this more stability, and also so that we don't see the funky pattern on the back. So that is going to go down like this. Now I am going to just snip some of these in half. Now what I like to do is just flip this over in place. It's going to go about there, so that I can just make sure that when I'm putting these dimensionals down, that they are not going over this center point. If they go over the center point, it's going to glue my card shut, and I don't want that. So we're gonna just put those there. And then we can flip this over and put that back in the center. Hopefully it's straight. There we go. Now we are going to get this leaf ready, and it's going to get dimensional just kind of on an angle like that. And I used the mini dimensionals for that. Now this is where my piercer would be handy. There it is. So what are you all doing with your weekend while I get this ready? If you are not local, you for sure are probably not going to Folk Fest. But what are you going to do where you are? And is it super hot like it is here? Can't complain because we had so much rain and cold weather. Like we were wearing, a couple weekends ago, we were wearing sweatshirts outside. So I'm just trying to make sure that I haven't put any dimensionals where they're going to go over the edge. There we go. So now I can place this down. We need to get some cleaning up and clear out done. It'll depend on how hot it is, how much we do outside. All right, so this is gonna go, oopsie, I did not angle that quite so much. Like that. Now I'm also going to take a half a dimensional, and this is half of a mini, and I'm going to put it underneath this little hole. Just like that. Now here is what I was making sure that I had set aside. I have the little hole from the die, and I'm going to just place it down here. I could pick it up with my take your pick tool. Just gonna try to pick it up with my piercer. Nope, I've got to grab my take your pick tool. If I knew where, oh here it is, right in front of my face. Okay, so now I'm just gonna pick that up and place that. I like the take your pick tool. Oh, see, I switched them. This is not the one from this die, but that's okay. I can always cut a new one and place it. Now it's upside down. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna cut a new one and I'll show you guys. We had initially actually thrown them away. So I am going to grab this die, and this is what I did. We just took this part of the die, so you can see here there's a little, that shape cut there. I am going to place this on this darker part right here, and I'm going to go run this through the Stamp Cut and Emboss machine like that, and then I'll have a new hole to fill that in with. And this is where, just off camera here, this is where my other piercer is. No wonder I could not find it. It's sitting by the machine. All right, so now I have a darker one right here, and hopefully that one will be a better fit. So the dimensional would have kept that in place. Oh, look, I can get that out. There we are. I was able to get it out, so I'm not going to glue it. And I'm going to try picking it up with the piercer. There we go. There, much better. That color is a lot better fit. So now I've been able to just, it's in the annual. Okay. There we are. So now we've filled in that little hole, and we don't have to worry about having a hole there. I was going to tie the linen thread through it, same as yesterday, then it just wasn't positioned right. I didn't love it. So I pulled it out and rearranged some things. So I just put a little glue dot on here. This is just going to get tucked right in there. Now I am going to put a double decker on this end, double decker of dimensionals. So we're just going to stick this on the back, peel the backing, place another one on there, and then I'm going to place this right down here. Okay. Now I can tie a linen thread bow. There we go. And then I'm going to glue dot it in place. I have more deadheading to go outside and do, and I just don't know if I want to go back out there tonight to do it. Normally it's like one of the highlights of my day to go outside and do that, but man, it's hot. And I really want to finish my page as well. Okay, so now that's glue dotted in place. Now, I got a little backing there. There we go. Now what I want to do is go back in between here, and now that my linen thread bow is in place, I can just gently lift this up and place a dimensional just right inside there. And then that way now I can just peel that backing off and whoopsie, make sure I place this down straight, not crooked. There we are. So now we've got the linen thread bow in place. And now I need to add some gems. So the gems are from the Petal Pink and Pretty Peacock gems. I love these. Now, let's see, I have a sheet already started. So we're gonna leave those ones intact of the Pretty Peacock anyway. And we're gonna just take these, put a large one and a small one. And just like yesterday, I actually need to move this a little bit. Just like yesterday, I am not putting 3 gems. I am only putting 2, and I am treating the bow like my 3rd or odd numbered embellishment. So don't feel like your gem has to be the only thing that you consider as your odd numbers and triangular pattern. At least that's my little cheat anyway. I often use the linen thread or whatever my bow or other coordinating embellishment is. Now, do you guys think I should put a layer on the inside? I do have one cut. So what I had in mind was another white layer. Now, usually you wouldn't necessarily put a white layer inside a white card, but I was thinking I might stamp. This is a little bit too wide, so I'm going to just trim a little bit off. I was thinking that I would stamp that same leaf in the corner, and then I could put, I just have to grab a little scrap sheet because I don't want to stamp right on the glossy mat and then have that ink get on the back of my card. I was thinking I would stamp this in the bottom corner with Lost Lagoon. You guys can help tell me what you think of this. There we go. And then do the thank you in Pretty Peacock, because we have the "you are amazing in every single way" and then thank you. So I feel like this is a little bit smudged. And if I flip this over, you can still see that. So 1 second. I'm just going to trim this sheet down. We'll try one more time. And then I'll try to not get so much ink on it. There we go. That's a little bit better. Just missed a little spot. There we go. That's better. I'm happier with that. Oh, thank you, Karen. Oh, I did that with Pretty Peacock though. It was supposed to be Lost Lagoon. Okay, so let's see if I do Lost Lagoon for the greeting instead. Oh man. That's okay. We'll just reverse the pattern. Let me just make sure that's straight. There. And then it ties in, the middle of it will tie in with the center panel on the card. Now, I think I'm going to distress the edges of this like I did the front so that that kind of ties in. Now, I just got to find where I put my snips down to. And I don't want to put any embellishments on this part because then it will add bulk on the inside of the card, and we don't want that. There we go. That's too funny that I totally did that in a different color. Now, here's where I don't want to use my Tombow because I don't like the little, it leaves like a little indent, I find. It doesn't matter how gentle I go. So I'm just going to stamp and seal this. There we go. To the inside. Now, here, I'm going to just bend these back. I don't want this to be making this bow forward while I am trying to place this down. There we go. There. So now we have our gatefold card that opens up to this pretty thank you inside. Thank you, Karen, for the vote to put something on the inside. I do like it with that. So I will real quick, yeah, that's going to show up too much. So let's just quickly put another one on the inside of the other card. I'm just going to quickly cut. Now this time I'll do the other one in the opposite order. So I'm just quickly cutting myself another basic white layer. There we are. And I will quickly clean off the stamped or the leaf because it now has pretty peacock on it. So we're just going to clean that off. And this time we'll do Lost Lagoon in the corner and pretty peacock for the thank you. So let's see what we think of the reversal. Okay, so we're going to just put this here. Tap gently so I don't get too much. Oh, let's see. I don't know. It's the Lost Lagoon, I think, has too much ink. Might be the problem. There we go. That's better. So close that one up. Now we're going to do Pretty Peacock for the thank you. And then we'll have two different versions. There we are. So you guys can tell me which gets your vote. Which do you like better? The Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock or Pretty Peacock and Lost Lagoon? I like them both equally. I don't think I have a favorite. There we are. Is anybody stamping this weekend? I know I'll at least be doing enough to finish, oopsie, my scrapbook page. Now, what bundles or stamp sets would you guys like to see next week? I haven't decided yet. This one is not wanting to play nice. Have not decided yet what I will use next week. But I do really enjoy creating projects for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy seeing them as much as I like making them. All right. Here we are. There. Hi, Cindy. How are you? We are just about done. I was just asking Cindy, I'm not sure if you were here already, when I was saying or asking what bundles or stamp sets you guys would like to see some ideas with. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet next week. We have decided, though, for Stamp Club, we are going to go ahead with the Changing Leaves bundle. So anyone in Stamp Club, so the Stamp Club minimum order is $40. And then we make two projects together and I make a project for them. So we will, I've decided since I've started doing these lives that every month, 1 week of the lives will also feature the stamp set that we're using for Stamp Club So they will have additional opportunity to earn more cards. And even if they don't earn the extra cards, they will still have extra inspiration that they can come and watch on Facebook Live, or they can revisit it afterwards. So their $40 order qualifies them for club, and then if they wish to bump up their order by an additional $65, they qualify for both sets. So others can do that as well. So if you are interested in placing the $65 order to earn all the supplies for this week's cards, you can add another 40 and then get to join us for Stamp Club if you would like to do that. So the deadline for the cards for this week, I'll recap those again real quick for you guys, is by Sunday night. So if you place an order by Sunday night of $65 or more, or either by using the host code or contacting me if you're local to have it added to my order going in, then you will qualify for these card kits. My Stamp Club members, you can qualify if you decide to bump your order up to 105, the 40 for Stamp Club and the 65 for this week's cards, by the time that we are submitting the Stamp Club order. So this is card number 5. We have this little insert there, and that is the front. So it's a gatefold card. Yesterday was another fancy fold card with this belly band, and then it opens up to this. So that was card number 4. Card number 3 was this baby wipe technique card. And then cards number 1 and 2 were these ones here. So we did the background with a layer of the white die cut leaves on the watercolor, and then this one we just popped a white die cut leaf on the 2nd generation watercolor. So those are the 5 cards. And then Stamp Club, it will be a different 2 cards and then a card that I make for them. So if you'd like to join us, then please let me know. If you'd like to place an order and qualify for the card kits, you can submit your order or contact me and then message me to say that you would like these cards so that I know that that's what your order is qualifying for. We also have bonus days on right now. So with your $60 order in Canada, you will qualify for a $6 coupon that you can redeem in August. So that will, participating in the weekly order to qualify for the cards will automatically qualify you to get the bonus days as well. Does anyone have any questions? I will just take a quick scan here. And I'm just laughing again, Karen, at your not the cutter. If anyone ever sees where we can get those, please do let me know. I would love another one. All right, so that is the cards for this week. I'm hoping to get my page finished so I can post it for you guys tomorrow before the deadline. It's not part of the kits that you can earn, but just to help give you extra inspiration before the deadline comes on Sunday night. And then Monday, I will be back with a different bundle. Again, if you want to comment and let me know what bundles you would like to see used, I can always consider them if I have them. And I look forward to coming back to you guys next week. And I will post, I've got some posts to catch up on over the weekend. So I will get that page made and shared with you guys, and I might have some other past projects to post as well. But I will be back Monday. I'll post on Monday to let you guys know what time, but it's probably going to be evening time. Again, probably around 7:30 again. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that you are inspired to create with some of these techniques or layouts or products, or even if you switch them up and use them with bundles that you have. I hope you are inspired to create. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thanks so much. Good night.